Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your natal moon in the sign of Virgo. And it's so funny, I've stopped and started this video like 10 times. I keep doing it in my book room where I usually do all of my work stuff, and my dogs keep barking, and then I even brought them inside and then I could still hear them barking, and it was like I was getting so Virgo about this video, I just could not do this video with their barking. So I moved into my bedroom for the good of all Virgo moons watching this. I want to make sure this video doesn't have any sound effects that would take away from it. And I have my moon in the sixth house, so I relate with you guys on some level, although my moon is in Leo. It's in that area of life. So anyways, what is the moon sign? The moon sign represents our inner self, our emotional self, our reactions to life, our childhood, our deepest heart self. And also in a man's chart, it can show his image of wife. So the moon, our emotional needs, it's also our emotional needs and what we need to feel emotionally fulfilled. When that is coming through the sign of Virgo, these are people who need structure, order, routine in their life in order to feel emotionally healthy. So they can be very helpful and actually very kind and giving people. At least that's how I've seen it. Some of my books would disagree. I've read that this placement can be lacking in warmth and heart energy, and that's not actually what I've experienced from people who have this placement. Although I get what these books are saying, this isn't an overly showy when they love you, when they care for you, they're not overly dramatic and going to have these grand gestures about it, but it's more about acts of service. And, these people truly do care and they want to be of service. And I've actually seen it in many people. They can have quite a submissive or even a subservient side to them, where you put them in a situation or with a bunch of people or at work or with a friend group, and they want to be the one who's breaking their back to try to help people, or they can really give you the shirt off their back, or they can be very giving, but it's not so much in a way that's flowery and romantic and how a Leo moon would give. It's more of in acts of service they give, and that's something that makes them feel fulfilled. It makes them feel emotionally needed, and it also can make other people feel really cared about as well. So I think that's a better way to explain Virgo moon than to say that they're emotionally not there. It's not that they're not there, it's just that their emotional need is to be of service and also to perfect a situation. They can go into a situation or be in a relationship and know exactly what is wrong and what needs to be fixed and what needs to be changed and moved around, and they can bring order to chaos. That's really what they're here for. So they're great organizers, they're great planners, they're very helpful. And that's what they need to feel in place, and it can be hard for them to really see themselves in an uncritical light. This is one of the placements, along with Venus in Virgo, that can be very self-conscious, and this can sometimes show up as shyness as well, where they can have a hard time just letting go and being in the moment because they can feel inadequate or insecure, But because of that desire for perfection, they really can actually end up becoming like experts or becoming extraordinarily gifted in their chosen field of whatever it is that they have a passion for, whatever it is that they do for work. Like, they can really end up being very good at what it is that they're doing. And, part of it is coming from that inner feeling of needing to be perfect, but like it actually ends up working out well for them. Like, you'll see people with the moon in Virgo um, have quite like a mastery over something. We can definitely see that because they have that emotional need to be perfect, and like that can actually manifest in a good way. Like I said, you can see them being the experts with technology, with intellectual things. Like they can be very intelligent as well. This isn't a placement for the moon that would be lacking in that ability to, understand things, or like, yeah, they can be very intelligent as well. That's one of their gifts. And yeah, it's an interesting placement because it it's not necessarily emotional, like in, the water signs, or even in the fire signs. We can see people being, pretty emotional. With this placement, it's more like they can be high strung, they can have kind of like a nervous energy, but it's really coming from that emotional need to have things in order, to have things structured. In their early life, they could have felt that their mother or their upbringing was kind of like a Virgo type, where, there was someone that was like demanding order and like, keeping things really structured. And like that's kind of what they've been brought up in, is that is the most important thing, not these kind of like emotional connections, or other things that other people maybe have an emotional need for. The Virgo moon, first and foremost, they need things to be in order and structured to feel good. So like this is kind of a classic example, and I hope I'm not like losing you guys here, but like they can have a real need to keep things clean. And it's really coming from that Virgoian need for like pristine clarity, like things being totally clear so that they can have that like purity, because that's really what Virgo energy is about, is like purity of heart and soul. And so people with the moon in Virgo can be very tidy and very clean, maybe a little bit obsessively at times, but it's really coming from that need for like purity, because that's really one of the highest embodiments of Virgo, is like they need that purity. It's like this, yeah, this pristine energy of just total clarity, right? And there's a humility with this moon sign as well, where there, and we could have other things going on, like, a whole bunch of Leo or Sagittarius or Aries or something that would mitigate this, but like usually you're going to see with this moon sign quite a humility, where they don't really brag about themselves much. And even if they have other things going on, there is like, I've seen it as there's kind of a submissive quality to this moon, where they really just want to help you and like serve you. And so they can be really excellent partners, really, like depending on who they're with, though. Like, it's not necessarily an emotional form of caring, but it's like they can take care of you, they can keep things in order, they can be excellent cooks as well. Like, it actually is a pretty good placement for like the traditional wife kind of energy, keeping the house clean and being an amazing cook, and making sure everything's in order all the time. And men with this placement can be the exact same though. Like they can be that traditional wife energy because that's the thing about Virgo energy. I mean, Virgo is a feminine sign, and like that type of femininity is kind of reflected here with the moon sign of Virgo, which can be a very good thing. And although, you know, that might not relate to everybody, there's always going to be some area where these people demand like total cleanliness and total like, it's like they have this need to really like go through things and be, you know, very exacting and like almost like mechanical about something. Like let's just say like, you know, if they were like a musician or something, they would need to like go through all the notes and, you know, have it all written out and make sure like, you know, everything is in the right key, and like, you know, a more, rather than a more Piscean kind of just go with the flow and improv style like music, like they would be like, you know, the more classical, like all the notes are drawn out and it's like you're just following like that. Like that's just one example. Or, you know, if they're doing some other type of creative thing, like let's say they're cooking, then they're sticking with the recipe or whatever. Like there's this need to like really be exacting and like precision, right? So something that you can notice about these people is that they're very perceptive, and they can like notice things about you that maybe other people would miss. And they can be more critical of you too. They're not always the most like giving of compliments and praise, because, you know, their form of helping you and serving you is like helping you see how you can become better. And so if they do seem critical of you at times, it's only because they know how you could be better. And it's actually, it could be coming from a place of love, and, you know, it likely is. But yeah, what else about this moon sign? You know, it is an earth sign, so these people can be very hardworking, more grounded into reality. And I mean, there could be other things going on, like square to Neptune or something, that could make them a little bit ungrounded. But usually with this moon, we're going to see people that are focused on health. They're focused on, you know, the 3D reality, like money and having a good job. And like they're, they can be pretty traditional or conservative type people. And they have an emotional need to be that way, like to have things in order. And, you know, first things first, their lives, they have a need to keep their lives in order so they can become very successful, because this is like their deepest emotional need, to have that structure and order in their own life. So they do usually end up becoming, like I said, masters of something, very talented, very good at whatever they're doing, because they put so much work into it. So like these are the real workers of the zodiac. And yeah, in my experience, they can be very caring and very, you know, noticing of what you need and then giving it to you. So they can be very giving as well. So anyways, yeah, these mutable moons, I have such a hard time explaining the mutable moons, because I feel like there's many manifestations of the energy of a mutable sign. Like it's not always so cut and clear. And like I know with Virgo moons, you guys, you want it in order, you want it to be like very exact. Well, I hope I've done an all right job with this, but you guys are complex beings. So anyways, you guys, yeah, I hope that was helpful. I'd love to know your experience of having this moon sign, or being with someone who has this moon sign. What are your experiences? I love to read your comments, and I do offer one-on-one sessions. My links are below. I offer 2 types of sessions. I do a soul purpose session where we go deep into your own personal natal chart, and then I also do a synastry or relationship chart session where we go into the dynamics of the interaspects being made there in the relationship chart. So yeah, look forward to hearing from you guys, and talk soon. Thanks for watching.